Hey everyone, let's talk about something that, affects pretty much all of us, what gets us out of bed and into work every day. We're about to dig into a really powerful idea here, one that suggests we've been looking at motivation completely backwards.
So, let me just throw this out there. What if everything we've been told about motivation is just wrong? You know the drill, right? Find your why, connect with some big, grand purpose. But what if the real secret, the actual key to loving what you do is something way more personal, something a lot more human?
Yeah, exactly. This idea we're diving into today, it completely flips that conventional wisdom on its head. It basically says all those fancy, abstract mission statements you see on corporate posters, they're pretty much useless.
Because it's not about the why, it's about the who. We're talking about the actual, real-life people whose lives are a little bit better because of the work you do. And look, it sounds like a small change in thinking, but believe me, the results are, well, they're huge.
All right, to really get this, let's jump into a real-world story. We're going to look at this massive global accounting firm that was dealing with a total crisis of motivation. And when I say a crisis, I mean it was bad. Back in 2014, they ran a survey, and the results were, yikes. It was a perfect 50-50 split. 50% of their 30,000 employees had an unfavorable view of the company. Just think about that. Half of the entire company was basically checked out. And no, that's not me exaggerating. The source material is super blunt about it. Morale was in the tank. People just felt like their jobs, auditing, staring at spreadsheets day in and day out, were just mind-numbingly boring.
So, what does a company do in that situation? Well, exactly what you'd think. They threw the classic solutions at it. Pay raises, more perks, better hours, you name it. And sure, things got a little better for a minute, but it all fizzled out super fast. It was obvious that you can't just throw money at a problem this deep.
Okay, so attempt number 2. This time, they decided to focus on purpose. But they walked right into a really common trap, the abstract why trap.
They rolled out this huge, shiny campaign called We Shape History. It was all about these incredible things the firm had done in the past, like helping with the Lend-Lease Act in World War II or the Nelson Mandela election. I mean, amazing stuff, right? But can you see the problem? If you're an auditor in, say, 2014, staring at a spreadsheet, how does that connect to your daily life? It just doesn't.
And this right here is the whole point. On one side, you've got the corporate why. It's the mission statement nobody reads, the email everyone deletes. But on the other side, you have the who. That's the real stuff. It's a thank you from a client. It's that personal connection that makes you feel like, okay, what I'm doing, it actually matters to a real person. So, the big breakthrough, the aha moment that would fix all of this, it didn't come from some fancy boardroom meeting. Nope, it came from a pretty surprising place, a university call center. And let me tell you, if you're looking for a tough motivation problem, this is it.
I mean, you just have to love the brutal honesty of this quote from one of the workers. It perfectly sums up how thankless the job was. It's just rejection after rejection, zero recognition, you're totally on your own.
And the stats? Whoa. The annual turnover rate was 400%. Let that sink in. The entire staff turned over every 3 months. It was just this constant revolving door of misery. Okay, so some researchers decided to run an experiment here. And what they found was, well, it was mind-blowing. The average weekly revenue per employee went from about $400 to over $2,000. That's a 5x increase. Just wow. So what was the secret sauce? What caused this insane jump in performance? Was it a big bonus? Nope. Better training? Not at all. The only thing they changed was a single 5-minute story. They had the callers meet a student who was there on a scholarship that their work was paying for. For the first time, they met their who. They finally saw the person on the other side of all those phone calls. Okay, so with this incredible insight in hand, let's head back to our big accounting firm. They took this lesson and completely overhauled their strategy. No more talking about shaping history in the past. It was all about the here and now. They put out a challenge to all their employees. Tell us a story about how you're making a difference today. They were hoping to get, maybe 10,000 stories back. They got over 42,000. The response was just absolutely insane. It was clear people were starving for this kind of connection. And the stories that came in were just incredible.
You had an employee who suddenly didn't see themselves as just an auditor anymore. No, they were someone helping to fight terrorism by cutting off the money supply.
Then you had another person who wasn't just checking boxes on a form. They were making sure family farmers could stay in business by keeping the credit system honest.
And another one saw their audits as a way to rebuild entire neighborhoods. All of a sudden, staring at a spreadsheet wasn't boring anymore. It was a direct line to making a real, tangible difference in someone's life.
So, what's the big lesson here? What do we do with all this? Well, it's a totally new way to think about leadership. And honestly, it's a new way to think about our own jobs, too.
The best leaders, it turns out, aren't the ones with the biggest, most abstract vision. They're what you might call chief storytelling officers. Their number one job is to help their team find the specific people whose lives are better because of their work. They're constantly hunting for and sharing the stories of their team's who.
And that brings us right back to you. This isn't just an idea for CEOs and managers. This is for every single one of us. So I want you to really think about this for a second. Who is actually genuinely improved by the work you do every day? Seriously, take a moment. Because finding the answer to that question, well, that just might be the most powerful source of motivation you'll ever find.